What's up, guys? Welcome to the bullshit machine. Today I'm going to talk about addictions, how they're like how it's like being possessed by Satan, right? And how to transcend your addictions, right? I wrote this book called The Bullshit Machine, Transcending the Delusion of Who We Think We Are. And a lot of it's about addiction and how I transcended my addictions. And we're going to talk about that today. Then I want to talk about globe Earth. And I don't usually have notes, but I read the note and then we flow, right? I got a little page full of notes and then we flow. So globe Earth, how teaching it makes you not trust your senses, like your own senses. Like they put you on a spinning ball, right? And your senses tell you that you're on a flat and stationary earth, and kind of how it jumbles how it kind of scrambles our eggs a little bit, just on how we end up not trusting ourselves, okay? Also, I need a theme song. So here, here's a theme song. Here we go. Let's see. Welcome to the bullshit machine.
Welcome to the bullshit machine. If things run in your life that you don't want it to, and you don't know how to get it to stop, so watch the bullshit machine and you'll learn how.
Yeah, we'll learn how. Okay, so now I see who that is. Why don't you have your picture? All right. So hi there. What I mean, like, I'm going to talk about what I mean by when I talk about Satan, okay? Satan is basically the evil it takes for our lifestyles to exist. Like, the evil it takes for our, the evil it takes for porn to exist is pedophilia and child trafficking and all that, right? The evil it takes for our diet to exist, right? For our corn syrup diets, high processed foods to exist, right? The evil that needs to exist for that is obesity, heart disease, diabetes. That stuff needs to exist for our lifestyles to exist. For our cars and our boats and our yachts and our houses, right? And not but you see the stuff out there. For all of that to exist, debt needs to exist. Crippling debt needs to exist, right? And you see the effect that it has on people. So when I'm talking about Satan, right? If you're kind of turned off by the God Satan thing, I was too. I was absolutely turned off by that too. So if you are turned off by the God Satan thing, I get that. But when I just for perspective sake, just think of Satan as the evil it takes for our world to exist. Okay, it's just a real easy way to see it and not get triggered. So what I want to do with this live stream, with this show, The Bullshit Machine, obviously I named it after my book. But what I want to do with this is I want to show you what's trying to keep you enslaved by, how I do that is I find what's keeping me enslaved and I share that with you. Okay. And then I want to show you how, the stuff that I learn, how to transcend that stuff that keeps us enslaved in the mainstream, keeps us enslaved in self-hate, keeps us enslaved in just following all of our indulgences, right? So this big this evil world can exist. This evil world needs to exist, right? The more careless we are, right? The more careless we are with our stuff, the more it shows, right? the more we allow stuff like Disney, right? Stuff like Disney into our kids' lives, right? To teach them just some odd behavior, like this superhero thing. You see a lot of Disney movies have really heavy. They're for adults. They have really heavy sexual connotation and stuff, and it's like we're putting that into our kids' minds, and we're like allowing, like the cost of Disney is allowing our kids to be confused. That's why you see a transgender movement and a gay movement. The cost of that stuff, the cost of all that, the liberalism, the cost of liberalism is a confused, conscious being, right? You're not, nobody's born that way. It happens. It's a program, okay? It's not a bad thing. Nobody's telling you it's right or wrong or whatever. But you know how you feel about what you do, right? If you feel like, think of Satan as, think of, let's get on to addictions. You know what's going on. Like, you know how that stuff makes you feel. You know that you feel like you shouldn't be doing it. If we all have that feeling, like, I shouldn't be doing this, right? Your first cigarette, your first drink, whatever. You feel like you maybe shouldn't be doing this. And then we keep trying to figure out that feeling of why we shouldn't be doing it while we're doing it, right? And what we're doing is
Welcome to the bullshit machine.
we're perpetuating the bullshit machine, right?
So watch the bullshit machine and you'll learn how.
Wait, okay. So think of like an addiction as kind of like the thing that's keeping you attached to Satan, right? An addiction would be an evil that needs to exist for us to live our lifestyles. I was a heavy alcoholic, and I was concerned about money. I was concerned about the way I looked. I was concerned about status. I was concerned about possessions. I was concerned about deviance. I was concerned about chasing women. I was concerned about drugs. I was concerned about alcohol, right? And all of this stuff, all of I guess I'll say deviance. All of the sin. The sin is missing the mark. Okay, all of this stuff has made me not want to feel my own emotions to the extent that I needed to drink to hide them, right? I needed to drink to not feel them. The life that I was living, right? The lifestyle, the lifestyle that I was trying to build in my life, okay? Working, 12, 15 hours a day in a car business that I pretended to like, that I tried to motivate myself, tried to pull myself up by the bootstraps, right? It was great for a while, and then it sucked, and then we make our compromise. I was compromising every single day, and what needed to exist was for me to completely dull my senses. Okay, it's like the feeling comes up. And I was somebody who drank 25 to 30 airplane bottles of vodka per day, okay? And the feeling comes up, and it's like, hey, I don't want to feel this thing. And like we start feeling this pain. It's like, oh, I don't want to feel this thing. Well, what do I do? What do I do to not feel this thing? Like, I need a drink. Oh shit, I need a drink. What do I do? And it's like all of a sudden, this thing possesses us. It's like, oh, I gotta get that xanax. I gotta go jerk off. I gotta go call that girl. I gotta go, I gotta go watch porn. I gotta go gamble. I gotta go, oh, I don't want to feel this thing. I don't want to feel this thing. all, like if you've ever smoked cigarettes, if you've ever been addicted to cigarettes, I smoked for over 20 years. I drank for over 20 years, like heavily in denial. Right? So the more I covered that up, the more I would drink, because the more I didn't want to feel that, right? So the more I suppressed it, the easier it would be to trigger it. And then it would just be like full panic. He'd be like, hey, I need a drink. I can't go another second without a drink. And it's like this little thing inside, it's like, and it gets inside, it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden it wears me like a suit, and it takes my body's like, oh God, I need a drink, I need to drink, I need to jerk off, I need to do whatever, I need to go on Facebook, I need to go tell somebody to go fuck themselves, I need to, That's what needed to exist for me to live, that's what I needed to suppress. Right? That's what I needed to drink. I needed that anxiety that I didn't want to feel, that I knew internally that I hated my life. But I used my addictions. It's like being possessed. I used my addictions to cover that up. And we're all doing it. We're all doing it to some point, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, your addiction doesn't have to be drinking. People's addiction, people are addicted to their doctors. My mother, when I was growing up, my mom was addicted to her doctor. She went to the library and she bragged about this. And this is where I get some of my deviance. Absolutely, she bragged about this. She went to the library and looked up the definition, and I think she even made a copy. We could make copies back then. Looked up the definition of a anxiety and a panic attack and depression. And this is when the pharmaceutical company was really getting going, right? This is Xanax. My mom got Xanax very early on, but she learned to lie to get her way. Right, and there was actually good intentions behind it. Okay, and I learned this in my own addiction. I did the same thing. I tried to use Xanax to get off of alcohol. Right, little does anybody know, or well, now we know, but especially back then, Xanax hits the same. It's the same thing as drinking. It hits the same receptors, right, or very similarly, and you withdraw very similarly. And Xanax to get off of alcohol is like crack to get off of cocaine. It's not. It doesn't work. It makes the problem worse. And that's, in my mom's desperation to not drinking, to not want to drink and want to feel better and want to learn about this depression. I mean, we know so much more now than we did back then. But in her desperation, she taught me how to try and not feel, like to search for an answer somewhere outside of myself, right? So when that feeling hits, that I don't want to feel this feeling. What do I do? I don't want to feel this feeling. I need a drink. I need something, right? So I need a Xanny. I need to call my doctor. Like, if instead of submitting to that, right? Instead of submitting to the addiction, instead of submitting to the suggestion of the addiction, oh God, I can't feel this. I can't feel. Just, like I need the thing. Instead of submitting to that, surrender to the thing that's inside of you. It's like a passing train, and some of them get rough, right? Some of them are just filled with old coal and nonsense and whatever, and they're all smoky, and it hurts. It feels like it's like wow, like you want to numb it. I get it, right? Whether it's scrolling on Facebook, that's a huge addiction thing. If you think that thing is not a serotonin making machine, look it up. Don't just trust me, right? But instead of catering to that feeling, this is where meditation comes in, right? I did 100 days in a row of 3-hour meditations. Okay. And what I sat through a lot was the urge to get up. Sitting through our urge, like any urge, right? Sitting through the urge to get up teaches you a lot about addiction, right? Your addiction is the urge to not feel your feeling. Well, if you're committed to sitting in meditation for 3 hours and you do it, man, you're going to sit through that feeling. You're going to sit through that urge to get up, and then you're going to understand your body more, right? You're going to understand that the body creating the thought is creating the importance, and the importance is creating more chemicals in the body to make you more panicked, creating more importance, more chemicals, yada, yada, yada. I got to get my fix. Right? Why do we need a cigarette? Oh, I'm gonna die. Right? Why do we need a drink? I need a drink. I'm gonna die. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you understand like addictions like this, then you can understand how you could be addicted to the television and it's fear porn. Right? That you could completely understand how the television is trying to is trying to keep you in that, right? It's like, oh my God, I need to, I just heard this fearful thing. Let me see if anybody came up with a solution yet. Right? And instead of, you see kind of a solution to something, and then bam, it's another worse story, and then kind of a solution to that, and then bam, it's another worse story, and then maybe some direction and different solutional things to that, and then bam, it's another worse thing. And it's like, it's an addiction. It's fear pornography. 100% it is fear pornography. And the way to keep perpetuating it is to keep watching it, right? So if the thing that says I need my addiction, pretend that's like your little demon, right? You're a little possessed by Satan. Okay, so I'm possessed by Satan. What did I just describe Satan as? The evil it takes for our lifestyles to exist. The evil it takes for our lifestyles to be possible. So what am I lying to myself about, right? There's an addiction. There's something that's telling me to go scream at somebody, go blame somebody for something, go fly off the handle, go on a binge drink, go whatever. What is this thing, this thing it's telling me? Right? So that's the thing that you're standing up to. That's, if you can see that as like Satan trying to trick you, right? The evil it takes for your lifestyle to exist. If I can't take the anxiety of my lifestyle, then it's my lifestyle, right? Or if everything, like if part of my lifestyle is watching fear porn, then I have to take that out of my lifestyle. Do you get it? Like if part of my life is deadening my brain for 2 hours with cop dramas and The Simpsons and fear porn, I can take that out of my life, right? Because that evil, that evil needs to exist for my lifestyle to exist, and that's the thing creating the anxiety, right? And then the anxiety wants to lead you to the addiction. The addiction is the result of the lie, of the bullshit machine. The addiction is the result of the lie to yourself. Oh, I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's what the entire medical, pharmaceutical industry is built on. Maybe not at first. Maybe it was all built with great intentions. Right? The healthcare system, maybe it was all built with great intentions. Maybe, I don't know. But what is actually in front of us you see what it does. It's not meant to heal. It's meant to feed an addiction. It's meant to enable a lifestyle that you don't want to exist. It's to keep selling you more stuff. Right? What a great way to describe what Satan can look like in your life. Right? The evil it takes for my lifestyle to exist. Like, it takes evil for your panic to exist. Like, if you're constantly panicked, there's something that you're doing to keep yourself constantly panicked. Or it could keep or there's something that you're not doing to keep yourself constantly panicked. Right? We're not taking the time to actually allow the emotion to pass through. Right? If you think about this, it's just Satan passing through, right? This thing that wants me to be addicted, this thing that wants to catapult me into my addiction. It's just Satan passing through, okay? And it's figure it like a train. Sometimes it goes by real quick, like a bullet train, okay? And sometimes it's going to go by like an old dirty locomotive that's run on coal, and it's carrying toxic waste and is carrying, whatever. It's just, and then it's going to feel like that. But the key is to just let it happen. You say, you know what, God? The Satan train's passing through. I'm not gonna hop onto it and go to the addiction, right? It doesn't matter what your addiction is, okay? And it's up to you to look in the mirror and understand what your addiction is. I don't know what it is. Is it gambling? Is it porn? Is it alcohol? Is it drugs? Like, what is it? Is it Facebook? Like, what is it? And if you understand that every time this feeling comes up, I do this thing, then that's what your addiction is. So now your job is to transcend the addiction. I mean, like, I don't want to oversimplify this, but I can't. It's just that simple. It's the thing comes. Oh my God, I need this thing to subdue the feelings of whatever it is in my body. Panic, fear, abandonment. I don't want to feel it, right? I don't want to feel love. Sometimes we don't want to feel love because we feel shame, right? I got to feel the shame. We're addicted to shame. We got to let the shame go to feel the love. So this addiction, this Satan train, just passing through the evil that it takes for my lifestyle to exist. What am I doing? What am I doing that's not connecting to God? Connect to God and find out what we're doing. Transcend the addiction to Babylon, to the life, to what is any of this stuff that we're after getting us anyway, right? Like. Space, like space travel. What's happening there, right? Like when you get the job, right, and then okay, and what are we actually doing? What are we addicted to? We're trying to reach somewhere, right? What is that thing? And if we're constantly keep going to our bullshit, we're doing it, and we're hiding something from ourselves. We're not sitting with the thing. We're not sitting with the thing. We're giving it away to the fear porn. We're giving it away to the addiction. Right? The trick is just let it pass through. Let it happen. Don't submit to the addiction. Surrender to the moment. Surrender to the moment. It's as much as it's your inner little bitch, there's also an inner child that needs love. Okay, so the inner little bitch is trying to get you to go do the thing, right? The inner little bitch, the submissive pussy, my submissive little pussy boy, right? My little special boy. The dude that can't handle life, or couldn't handle life without alcohol, right, or without cigarettes, or without that guy. You got to stand up to that person in yourself. It's not the addiction that's ruining you. Though they want to outlaw the addiction, that's the wrong way to do it. You can't outlaw the addiction. If less people use the addiction, the addiction ceases to exist. But in order to do this, you have to be responsible with your emotions. You can't give them away. Right? There's a sale on how to fix our emotions. Right? It comes in every shape and size. For everybody. I mean, here, like I'd say my some of my addictions right now, I kind of have a sugar thing going. It's probably a little stronger than I want to admit. Caffeine. There's a crankiness. I'm like, the caffeine, I got to sit through that. It's always nice to take a break from whatever you're doing, whether it's smoking weed, drinking coffee, whatever. Understand who you are without the addiction. If we don't engage in our own lives, if we don't engage in our own lives, we're going to engage in addicted to our addictions. Like, it's let's see. Well, I want to surrender, but it feels too hard. Yeah, I want the easy way out. Yeah, of course. That's not the easy way out, because it's been happening for 30 years, right? And you're still doing the same thing, right? And we call it the easy way out. And then the thing gets stronger, and it's like, oh, now I'm really going to, I'm really going to die. Yeah, I get it. I mean, like, withdrawing from alcohol, they say, is the most dangerous thing to withdraw from, okay? Because, your body thinks that it needs it to a degree of when, like in my case, I had seizures. I had delirium tremens. I'm gonna look that up. DTs, hang on a second. Tremens. Okay. So my body thought that it needed that, and when when the withdrawal happened, there a lot of scary shit happened. And it got stronger and stronger and stronger until finally it's like it's that's what rock bottom is. It's like you don't have any other ways out than just to God's like, yeah, I let you run long enough. Here's a wall. And you just have to stop and like either accept it and keep learning, choose to be here, start making different decisions, different choices. But I detoxed from alcohol in the hospital at least 10 times in my life. I mean, that's how many times, like, I couldn't, like, I had overwhelmed my body so much. I don't remember if being an alcoholic was very fun or not anymore. I mean, it's like you lose your purpose for it, and it's just I just want to be with the addiction because it's the only thing that feels comforting. I understand. I understand what that means, and to transcend means to grow through. It means to, right? I don't want to conquer it. I don't need to fight it. It's already feels like a battle. Let me grow through it. Let me feel like let me at least put that spin on it. Because that's the truth. It feels like it hurts. Yeah, growth hurts. And it feels like a battle, but it's only a battle if we fight it. And it's a practice to learn to not fight it. And we use our addictions to live the lives that we're living. Think of delays, distraction, deceit, and disappointment as Satan's opportunity. Once you can sit with it, you can begin to let it go. Yeah, it's like anything that frustrates you. I knew what you meant. Anything that frustrates you. Like, that's Satan trying to fuck with you. Hey, remember the Bart Simpson? I'll quit it. When he got the tattoo and then had it removed, right? One of the first or second season or something. It's like, it's just poking at you. So it's not up to the world. It's not up to the mainstream to change, because the mainstream has something to sell, and it has the goal of selling the most. And we're the customers. It doesn't matter what it is. We're the customers. That's why, like, when and talk about taking things out of your life to really see if it's providing any benefit or detriment. What's it actually doing? That was love. I just ignited love. Excuse me. So yeah, that's it's a great way to understand what addictions really are. You know, if you don't take them out, like you're that person that always does that thing. And one of the things I've never liked in my life, like if somebody says, oh, Neil always likes that, like always does that, like where somebody just associates me with an always does. Especially when that person doesn't know me, maybe they see me do something once or twice. There's a label that like I'm just whoa, hang on a second. I forgot where I was going with that, but that's yeah, they're like just there's a judgment feeling with that. Any questions about Satan? And so what is Satan? Satan's the evil it takes for you to live your lifestyle, and me to live my lifestyle. It's not a you. It's an everything. And it. So like now think about how space exists, right? Space exists so a certain lifestyle can be lived, right? So NASA can take $58 million a day from the American taxpayers, right? Space exists for Satan to exist, for deception and distraction. And like when they teach us globe Earth, okay, I'm gonna get on a flat Earth thing here. Okay, when they teach us globe Earth, they're basically teaching you to ignore your senses, to ignore your common sense. But it looks like the sun is going around us. No, Neil. You're the one spinning around the sun. Huh? But how does water stick to this globe? Well, it's a theory called gravity. Huh? But I've never experienced any of this spinning. How come water can be stuck to the earth, but a butterfly can exist? How come light isn't just constantly blasting half the earth? Right? How come light rays are on an angle and it's not? Like, why does everything I'm taught go against my senses? And then they grade you on it. Then they put a grade on it. And if you get a bad grade, you have to repeat the information to make fucking sure you learned it. And in the meantime, you've never experienced spinning on a ball at 1,000 miles an hour, rotating around a sun at 66.6 thousand miles an hour, that's rotating around the galaxy at 450,000 miles an hour. Like, to expect us to accept that water is being sucked into the center of this ball, right? But the sun, it's 1,000,000 times bigger than the earth, doesn't have enough gravity to suck the earth in. Like, and we've been graded on it. And it's meant to scramble our eggs. It's meant to confuse us. It's meant to make us not trust our senses. Like, the more I talk about this, I can actually feel the energy, like the truth energy rushing through my body right now, okay? There's no freaking way you've ever experienced spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Like, it goes against everything in your body to be like, yeah, no, water bends like this, right? You've never seen water, like, water can bend in a container, but look, it always finds its level. Water doesn't bend on the outside, it finds its level. And they scrambled our eggs with this shit when we were kids. So now, how do you feel, right? That, and I went through this morning. I went through a version of this morning, but like, it's like I sold myself. I fucking sold my beliefs. I sold my common sense for an A, for the right answer. And they're making us do it every day, like they're teaching our kids to do it. That's why I tell my kid, don't worry about your grades, man. None of that is the right answer. None of that. Excuse me. It goes against your. It makes you not trust yourself. If you, I don't trust myself. Why? Do you know why? Because everything you were taught was meant so you can believe what you think, and not what you sense, and not what you feel, and not what you're experiencing. It's to create the filter. It's got to pass through that retarded filter of, oh, I don't trust my senses. But this person told me that this thing's happening, so it must be happening because they gave me an A when I got the answer right. Look at how smart I am. Oh, look at how smart I am. I got an A, Mama. Can you put it on the fridge? Can you help me with my solar system, the science experiment? Dude, we've never experienced any of this stuff. Any. So your common sense has, and don't take this the wrong way, but your common sense has been damaged. Right? It was fucking punched. Your common sense has been damaged. Like if you're like, oh, flat Earth doesn't matter. It does. Like if it's round or flat, it doesn't matter. In that aspect, sure, you can convince yourself that it doesn't. But it's your common sense that has been bent so far out of the realm of reality that we yes, but and it's been so far out of reality that we believe it. We believe what we think rather than what we experience. Research flat Earth. Right? It's what you want to gain from that. There's a lot of God in flat Earth. Okay? That takes God out of, like, teaching us around ball Earth. It took God out of my create. Like, I thought God created the Earth. That's like, yeah, God in the beginning, God created the Earth and said, "Let there be light." Like I knew that, right? And then all of a sudden, God became insignificant because we were thought up by a big bang. And it's like, oh, so God works a little bit, maybe God doesn't, and then they keep taking God out of our lives. Like, your common sense, just the normal knowledge, just a normal way of thinking, a normal way of being here. It's been damaged. It's not permanent. The awareness of it, right? And you might go through this thing where you're just constantly questioning yourself, and that's fine. It's fine. It's like, oh shit, your common sense has been completely damaged. It's if common sense wasn't so damaged, then crypto wouldn't exist. Right? Bitcoin wouldn't exist if common sense wasn't so damaged. You actually have to do you know how much weight, how much belief, nonsensical belief you have to put into a digital currency, and trust that it's this private thing. People think it's private. Do you think it's really separate from the central banks? Do you think the central banks would allow it if it was anything different? It's another way of enslavement. It's another way of enslavement because if you believe in a globe Earth, you might be a really big fan of crypto, right? And I can see, if you're gonna hop in, hop out, and I see there's people with strategies and stuff like that, but long term, that crypto isn't anything. All it does, its growth means the dollar is stretching thinner. It means money is more and more worthless, right? Money is more and more worthless if this thing that is a digital thing, they're like, I'm mining something. You're mining your ass. It's stupid. It's like, well, how could we make them more of prisoners? Well, let's require a digital currency let's make a digital currency that requires electricity and the internet and tell them it's freedom. Well, how would they ever accept that? They believe in globe Earth. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Right? It's so easy for these people to bend your mind. It's so easy for these people to like it's like when you see this, it's like, how could people be wearing masks? Well, you're like opening the door to truth. Go by what you experience. Like that meditation is so great for that. So great for that, because you sit through the bullshit and you sit through the urge, and you're with God. You're with the space. Like, God is here. God is everywhere. You can have that conversation. You don't have to sugarcoat anything. I'm sure there's our creator, I'm sure the source of what we are has a beat on how we feel. You don't have to hide it. Right? You can only bullshit yourself. You don't have trust issues with God. You have trust issues. You don't trust you. You built you. And the thing, like, that's what I'm talking about. That you have trust issues because you don't trust your own senses. Do you get it? You have trust issues with God because somebody made you believe that God didn't exist. Or that God was something other than unconditional love. Like God was, like, somebody convinced you that God hated you. Somebody convinced me that God, I was convinced. I was like, man, I looked at like my childhood. I remember sitting, I don't know how old I was, but I remember being in my childhood, like, maybe I just got hit when I was a kid. You know, my mom used to hit me a lot, and I was like, God, what did you do? Like, why am I in, like, my mom hits me, my dad this, and my sister's mean, and, you know, my friend next door has so much more than me. You know, my mom's an alcoholic, my dad drinks, but it's like, I thought God hated me. And that's just God teaching me. You know, like, if you're made to believe that God hates you, then it's like, well, yeah, I'm on this insignificant speck of dust flying through this vacuum of space at millions miles an hour, like Rogan says. Bunch of space monkeys. It's nonsense. So yeah, it's like it's your sense of common sense. Right. I know, and that's right. That's, yeah, I so much compassion. Like that conversation, there's something in it, right? It's not punishment. It's not punishment. You know, God does those things for a reason. We have to remember that they're each an individual soul. We're all God's children, including our children. Yeah. I get that. You're crying. We're all God's children. Even our children. And there's things that we're not going to understand on this plane. There's things that we're not going to understand while we're here. You know, like, ask God for comfort. You know, say, hey, God, you know, I feel like a victim. I feel like I'm being punished. Be honest. You know, be honest. You're with you're with yourself. You're with the space that you're in, right? You're with God. Just say, God, I feel like I'm being punished. I feel tortured. I feel sadness. I feel abandoned. I feel pain. And I'm ready to feel comfort. I'm ready to feel love. I'm ready to understand the lessons that I have been unwilling to understand before. Yeah, God, I've been feeling worthless. There's been worthlessness, a feeling of worthlessness in my life. Can you comfort me or help me understand? Whatever I need right now, it's your plan. I surrender. Just be with it right now. I don't want to talk right now. I hope you're getting this energy I'm sending. I really do. Okay. But know that those feelings are implanted. Right? We have those feelings are part of our gift of life. But the way they're kept there and implanted and kept there, the nonsense tools that they suggest that our psychiatry departments and our pharmaceutical and our current understanding of psychology and stuff, like the Freudian stuff. It's meant to keep that stuff repressed. It's meant for you to chase your tail. Right? It's meant to pick at the scab so it doesn't heal. And what you're doing right now, what you're experiencing right now, if you're experiencing the heaviness, just let it come out. God's been trying to have you feel these emotions for years. Maybe even trying to take them from you. Say you've learned. And the addiction says, well, no, I want to feel like the victim. Right? How many times have you taken that and felt like the victim? You've twisted, like we twist our insides. So then we have bowel problems, poo-poo and pee-pee problems. Right? Our insides are twisted because we don't want to give it up. We don't want to just sit and comfort the victim. You think God's children are victims? No, that's a program. You're taught that. It's it's exactly like globe Earth. It teaches us to perpetuate nonsense. Keeping our emotions and not just sitting with them and giving them to God and letting them go is a learned behavior. It's a learned helplessness. Like, be grateful that you don't have the mask bug. If you don't have the mask bug. Be grateful that you're not so indoctrinated that you're covering your face and you're putting poison into your arm and changing your DNA. that goes against your common sense. Your common sense isn't fully broken. But it's going to take some work to sit there and trust your senses. I don't even know who's saying that. I'm so impatient. I want everything now. Who is saying that? Like, that's the person you must stand up to. That's the person keeping you in a world of like here, rich people, it's okay for rich people to be impatient because they're rich. So that behavior is not condoned. Like, our impatience is rewarded. It makes us feel wealthy. Oh, well, if I'm impatient, then that person will work faster for me and do my stuff and blah, blah, blah. Give God a foundation, like something to give us. You're impatient for what? For nothing. Your impatience is the thing keeping you on the hamster wheel. God, there's impatience. Like, take my impatience. I receive your patience. Take God's patience. Give it to God. You want everything now. You don't even know what you want. Your common sense is fucking gone. It's twisted up in a round earth in a spinning ball. So, like, feel that you're not spinning. Like, start trusting your common sense, and you might know what you want. You might, like, have an idea of what's real, what's even to want. Because what do we want? We want peace. Everything we want is on the inside. We want joy. I want to be happy. We're trying to make the thing on the outside make us happy. Right? I want happiness. Well, yeah, those are the things that we want. But you have to create that. Happiness comes from you. If you think you want everything now, like, what is everything? I need $1 billion. Why? Have you ever sat down and thought why you would need $1 billion? Or, like, why you would need $1 million right now? Like, I could, $1 million, yeah, I could see $1 million. $1 million would, like, really be, like, the exact right amount, perfect. But, like, if you're like, oh, I need to be a trillionaire, I need to be what? Like, think about what you would actually sit down, what you would do with $1 billion. You wouldn't even want to live that life. Like, here, if you wanted, like, so much is screaming in me, I want a simple life. And it's not screaming because it wants a simple life, but it's like the unsimple life is like it's like it's scrambling to try and survive. Right? The guy who's chasing money and wants everything to be complicated, he's scrambling, he's trying to survive right now. I'm sitting with this, I'm realizing what I'm going through, and it's like, oh, it's just something. It's like the crab trying to get out of the pot, right? Or he's trying to, just trying to keep alive. But what would I do with $1 billion? I wouldn't need that much. I'd want my land. I'd want a decent dwelling, some fencing, some animals, like, some space, I'm not, and sustain, right? To sustain that, like, you own things outright. Your windmill water, and so I mean, there's ways to do this. What would I do with $1 billion? I don't need it. I don't need it. Give it to charity. What charity would I trust right now? Like, I would give it to it, like, it'd be nonsense. I would do it and, like, buy more land and then I could build, like, what I wanted to help. But that's it's not up to me what what I should build for other people. That's what governments do. Like, I don't need that money. We need, like, we want everything now, but we only need to sustain ourselves and our families. You know, like here, so would you really want to live on a yacht? Just, I'm gonna drink all day and fucking smoke cigarettes and look at that. Like, that's an experience. Like, you don't want that thing in your backyard. It's like gluttony. Like it's not. I wouldn't condone, like, if you wanted to go on a yacht experience. Yes, let's do that. But like, I gotta own this yacht. And I gotta create all this debt and space to park my stuff. Like, that's nonsense. So when you say I want everything now, write down, start defining, like, what is everything now? Right? And it, like, you want all your problems solved, right? So what is a problem? What am I making a problem? You know, like, that's an addiction. Wanting everything now is an addiction. You already have love. Your heart is beating. Your breath, you're breathing. You are love. You're here. The other person on here loves you too. You're not lacking it. You're telling yourself a story that you're lacking love, right? If you want a real life without pain, then stop telling yourself you lack love. You won't accept it from God. You won't accept it because you think he's punishing you. You have to make that right, Connie. You have to make that right with God. God, like, you're like, I want all this love from this guy punishing me. No, that's what we've been trained to see our fathers as. That's what we've been trained to see our parents as. You already have love. Say, God, it feels like you're punishing me. I don't want to think that anymore. God, I feel like that's bullshit. Satan is bullshitting you if you think God is punishing you. You got to be honest and you got to get right with God with that. That's what all of this is about. Yeah, we all love, but and we all have to learn to receive it too. Is Satan, the grabblers, the whole thing, the system, the mainstream, they put us in victim consciousness. The way out of victim consciousness is not to fight Goliath. It's just to be a better David. You don't have to fight the beast. You don't have to say, hey, you can't do that. Well, you can't tell me I can't do that. Like, we're fucking retards. Yeah, stop judging yourself. Accept your loving self. Yeah, we're fucking retards. Exactly. Stop needing the thing, and then it won't control you. Stop needing the addiction, and then it doesn't control you. Stop needing the news, and then it doesn't control you. Stop needing the pharmaceuticals, and then it doesn't control you. Well, how do I do that? You know exactly how. And it takes a little faith. But you're reading my book, right? I tell you how I did it. And that's just to encourage your courage. You know, we got to encourage that courage, man. Because if you're walking through life and you ain't got no courage, then you're just walking through life with fear. And if you're walking through life with fear, then you're going against God. God says 365 times in the Bible, fear not. Fear not, loving children. It's actually 366 if what my chiropractor told me is true. But 365 times in the Bible, God says fear not. And your fear means you're going against God. And if you're going against God, you're perpetuating Satan. And if you're perpetuating Satan, then you're living a life with pain. You got to admit what you're doing. You've got to admit to God that you're making him this prison this prison warden. You're making life. You're saying, oh, you're punishing me. You're punishing me. God, give me a life without pain. You're punishing me. What, like, where your common sense is fucking twisted. It's twisted into a pretzel, a knot, a marine knot, like a very good knot. And it's not your fault, but now you know. And if you're taking offense to this, sit with God with that. Like, oh, my common sense isn't. Yeah, it is. You're saying God's punishing you and then won't receive his love. You won't receive his thing. Like you forgive what's happening. It's one of the most selfish things for us to do, to keep holding on to this pain. And keep making ourselves victims so other people feel fucking sorry for us. I had to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I keep this story alive because I'm feeling sorry for myself. And I want people to feel sorry for me too. That's why I sit at a bar and I tell my story and I have other people, we feel sorry for each other. I had to admit that. You have to too. If you want anything to change in your life, you have to admit where you're letting Satan take over. What is Satan? The evil that has to exist for us to live our lifestyles. You have to admit, man, this is funny. It's just like AA hit me. The first thing is admit you were an alcoholic, right? But AA is crazy too, because they're like, admit you're an alcoholic for the rest of your life. It's retarded. It's retarded. It's absolutely stupid. But they're right? The process is right, and it's their interpretation of the process. It doesn't actually, rule number 1 doesn't actually say that. It just says admit that you've been overcome, right? There's a lot of good in the evil that you see, if you can see through this sales pitch, if you can see that, like, what I'm doing, right, and what I'm doing, I'm uncasting the spell. You get to see how you've been put under a spell, and you can sit with it and you can say, God, I put under this spell where I've been believing, I've been telling myself this story that you're punishing me. I have evidence. I felt very good reason to do so. God, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't know if I can admit it. I don't know if I can do this by myself. Can you help me with strength? I don't want to feel like my Creator is punishing me anymore. I've missed the mark. I've gone astray. I admit that. I don't want to feel like you have punished me. I'm ready to love, and I'm ready to receive your love. I'm ready to feel this. I'm ready to feel through my own bullshit. I've been bullshitting myself, telling myself that you have punished me for years. And sit with that. And sit with that. And sit with that honesty. I've been blaming you. I've been blaming other people. I've been fighting with my husband. Yeah, it is yeah. Admit that you've been carrying around this feeling. say, man, I don't want it no more. You can take it. I know that it's not true. I know that this feeling is not true anymore. I've told myself this story. And I know that this feeling, even if it was true at once, it's not true now. And I don't want to feel like the creator is punishing me. Or you know what? I mean, if I do deserve it, what do I need to become? You know? What do I need to become? What's inside of me? How do I correct my course? Right? If sin is to miss the mark, if sin is missing the mark, repent is correcting my course. If I'm sinning, how do I repent? Like, and you're not asking me, right? I'm not telling you how. I'm giving you an idea of what to say. What to say when you're alone, when you're actually with. How? Who's asking how? You just do what I did. Like you do the thing. You just I acted it. I played it out for you. I did it myself. Like, you don't have to do the thing that I did. You do it your way. It's your relationship with God. And our relationship with God, a lot of times, the answers come in the silence. Yeah, ask God for it. Right? If it comes in the silence, then what do you got to do? You got to turn off your TV. You got to forget who you think you are. You got to forget that you're not Connie. You got to remember that you're not Connie. You got to forget that you're Connie. Right? You see how Satan tried to twist my words? You got to forget that you're not Connie. No, you're not Connie. You're not who you think you are. Like, you think God's punishing you. That doesn't exist right now. Like, this is like, if he was, like, even if that was true, it's over. Like, you're just keeping this. Right? At this point, you're like, we carry around this guilt. God asks for it. God, like you said, ask God for it. God asks for it. Like, don't even read my book. Read, like, download the Bible app. There's a free Bible app. Download that and like listen to the Sermon on the Mount. Like, Jesus tells you how to get rid of anxiety. Tells you how to talk with God and everything. I mean, it's so amazingly simple. So amazingly simple. And part of the lie is that it's complicated. Would you fart? But so here's, like, if you want to work on something, okay? Eckhart Tolle is a great like person for this. He talks about being present. Okay? Talks about being in the moment, being here, being right now. Okay? And what that is realizing it, like, that goes exactly with what I'm talking about. Like, we're not here right now. We have trouble being present because our eggs are scrambled and our common sense is twisted. It's in knots, right? So being here right now is seeing through, seeing life, reality for what it is, not for what you think it is, not through your indoctrination, right? If you think you're on a spinning globe, right, and you can't just go, oh, well, I'm not, okay, well, he said I'm not, so I'm not. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You're looking for aha moments. Everything you input right now, you want to try and get like an aha moment from God, right? And watch a flat Earth documentary, right, and see if you can get what they're talking about, just the common sense, right, and then see if it resonates with what I'm talking about. How your common sense is just bent. It's like instead of going from here to here, right? It's like Common Core math. Your common sense is Common Core math, right? 1 + 1 is 2, right? But 1 + 1 in Common Core math takes about 15-20 minutes. Common sense, your common sense has become Common Core math. Instead of going from here to here, it's just we go from here and then we go, and then we end up here somehow. If we end up here. So experience your experience more. Be in your common sense more. Be in the present moment more. Experience what it feels like to be under a sun that's not 93 million miles away. Okay? And that's provably so. Right? The angles of the light, it could actually measure. Like, it's just geometry. It's simple geometry. Yeah, once you take it, yeah, it's taken me a long time to realize, but once you start giving it to God, it will feel less heavy. Yeah, because it's not yours. Like, this body's not mine. This beard, this is God's beard, man. This is God's beard, and you can't mask your beard. If you're wearing a mask, you better, and you have a beard, you better shave your beard, and ask God for forgiveness. But yeah, when you give it to God, it's not yours. It's on loan. But if you think God's punishing you, then you're going to think that it's yours. You're like, oh, I'm a victim. I know the feeling. Like, I was a very young boy feeling like God punished me. Right? Any molestation victim. Yeah, any molestation victim would feel like God is punishing them. Tell me that's not, tell me you couldn't see that. Tell me you wouldn't see that. Like a child being molested. Them feeling like victims and a victim consciousness, like God hates them. The TV molests our children. Right? Your parent, if your kids find your porn drawer, right? It's a form of molestation. Because you put some shit into their heads that never needed to be there. And now they're on a new track to titty town, right? And they're 10, 11 years old. You feel like a victim. You don't know. It's like God doesn't like me. I feel like I'm being punished, right? How would you not? So sit with that. Like, say, God, I've been telling myself the story that you've been punishing me, and I, you know what? I'm starting to feel like I'm a little full of shit here. It's cool, like literally, and I, you know, it'll get deeper than that or whatever, but it's not. You're not going to die through it. And if you did, that means you did the exact right thing. God's like, yep, come on. Right? If you died through it, that means you did the exact right thing. So fear not. Fear not. Like, stand up to the addiction. The addiction is like being possessed by Satan, and all you got to do is say, "Not today, Satan." Right? Not right now. Oh, but I need something to make me feel better because I don't want to feel the feeling. Okay, well, this time we're just going to feel the feeling. It's not a big deal. But I can eat it. Okay. Here, the more you do this, the more you lose your dependence. Like, you lose your dependence on needing the things that are being sold. We don't need most of the shit we're being sold. Nobody needed a Snuggie. There's not one person that needed a Snuggie, especially if you had a robe. I bought a Snuggie. I got the free one. Yeah, robe over Snuggie too. Faith over fear, robe over Snuggie. We like, addiction is a fear of losing something. Faith over fear. Faith, I'll be okay without the addiction, without the fear of losing the addiction. The addiction is a fear of losing something, the fear of feeling something. Right? Feel the faith. I have faith that I can feel the feeling without the addiction. Not today, Satan. Right? And what is Satan like? Because I don't want to be like Tammy Faye Baker or some shit. Like Satan is the evil it takes for our lifestyles to exist. Why am I doing this? 81 minutes. Holy shit. You're going to transcend your fear inside, and you'll transcend your fear over the mainstream. If you're afraid to leave the house, you feel, I'm introverted, I don't like seeing people and stuff like that. Yeah, I get that, but that's a fear. Right? You got to keep standing up to those fears, those addictions. Otherwise, it owns you. And the beast owns you. Babylon owns you. Babylon is your addictions. All the shit that you see on TV is your addictions. It's our addictions. When I'm scrolling through my phone, most of it, a lot of times it's addictions. Unless I'm posting this, unless I'm, trying to add value to the internet. And sometimes I got to realize it myself, because I shun myself sometimes for being on my phone. And then I'm like, well, am I adding value, or am I getting value? Right? Or, and I have to be honest with myself. I absolutely have to be honest with myself. Yeah. So, nice day out. It's a beautiful day in Texas. It's a beautiful day. So, and here, this whole thing, I want to show you, right? I wrote this down. This is, I'm going to put this in the show notes. I want to show you what is trying to keep you enslaved and how to transform or transcend your dependence on it. I love me too. And I love you. If you can see, yeah, I'm in Texas right now. If you can see the thing coming at you, right? And then you're aware of your reaction to it. You can transcend the thing. And that's the value that I'm adding here. Like, this is, it feels like God's work. Like, I'm adding value. I'm putting value on the internet. That value is being taken off the internet. Value is being censored. Rest in peace, Gary and Terry. Buried in the seas of sodomies, connected like plug and socket. On their way to Gamma Heaven. That's really like a Dave and Buster's, just slathered in Astroglide. That's the eulogy I wrote for, or the obituary I wrote for Gary and Terry. Anyway, play, have fun. If the more we're the more we're trying to hide our the more we're trying to hide our emotions in our addictions, the less honest we're being with ourselves, the less authentic we're being with ourselves. It's true for me. It's true for you. It's true for everybody. You should be laughing now. That's how I wanted to end this. That means it's about time to go. Have fun. Have a when you give it to God, God will tell you to have fun. I'll say it like that. When you, that's God's instruction, right? It's God's instruction per the Bible. I don't. That the evidence is that. It's just words that came out of my mouth. Like that's, it says give it to God all the time. Like we don't teach our kids that, right? Because we're not learning that. That's what you got to be vigilant with the mainstream. You got to be vigilant with your input. You got to be vigilant with your addictions. Otherwise, you're giving it to the addiction instead of giving it to God. Makes sense? Oh, last thing, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. I haven't read any stories on why they're getting a divorce. But I do know. You're welcome. Hand in my heart. I'm going to find happiness today. Thank you for this. You're welcome. I do know that it's not what you think. It's not like it's probably to try and create some victim consciousness for sure, right? From like the Inquirer and Cosmo type people, right? The people, right? The People magazine people, right? The Twitter people. It's like, oh, they're doing it, and it's like this. They were such great philanthropists, right? And they're gonna like make this big sob story, and they're requesting privacy, right? When your privacy is doesn't exist. That's not them breaking up. That's like evil branching out. That's like picture a cell like dividing, right? And then those are going to divide, and then those are going to like. That's how that works. That's just a very big one, right? They're eugenists. If you don't know what a eugenist is, look it up. We think of marriage very differently than those people. We think of relationships very differently than those people. That's yeah. Like read whatever you read it with a critical eye. It's like whatever you watch it with a critical eye. Whatever you hear, listen with a critical ear. You'll start to see through this stuff. But not till you see through it in you. So, make sense? Makes sense. All right. Will do. All right. So, Thank you for joining the Bullshit Machine live stream on Instagram. Thank you for joining Caleb, the world, everybody there in Radio Land. Yeah, thank you for joining the Bullshit Machine and watching the. Well, thank you for you guys who joined me, and if you're watching the replay, thank you for making it this far into it. I do hope that you get something out of it. You know, I want to show what I've learned has been keeping me enslaved and in my own mental prison, and I want to show you what I've learned to help get myself out of it, how to see through it, how to kind of slay the spells cast upon us. And if you want to support this stream at all monetarily, my PayPal is nfirst@gmail.com, and my Venmo is BeHigherBeings to donate to BeHigherBeings. It helps me do stuff like this so I don't have to go do other stuff for other people. So if you find some value, help out, and I will keep doing this. So thank you. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very, very much. And like I said, I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I know I did. I aha moment myself all the time. And if you got a couple aha moments out of this too, that's awesome. That's what I want. So you know what? Let's do this. We're gonna outplay.
Welcome to the Bullshit Machine. Welcome to the Bullshit Machine.